Navigating Africa could be a tough task. It is the world's second largest continent and is home to 54 countries. But Avis is up for the challenge. It's been in Africa for the past 57 years and is the continent's largest fleet management company. It also does car sales, car rentals, and offers long-haul services. And it's eyeing more growth in Africa. So, this is Africa Pulse. I'm Bronwyn Seaborn, and on this episode, we take a look at moving Africa. Well, whether it's car rentals or sales, long-haul services or fleet management, Avis is continually adapting to Africa's mobility needs. And joining me to discuss that further is Ramasela Ganda, the CEO of Avis. Ramasela, thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you very much, Bronwyn, for inviting me.
Avis is known for car rentals. I mean, you can't stop at any airport and not have an Avis sign jump out at you. But the group is so much more than that. And the aim is to be this integrated mobility service provider. Tell us what that means exactly.
You know, Bronwyn, that strategy we started in 2021. And in 2021, you look at the environment just coming out of COVID. And, it was the right time for us to relook at mobility and the customer's need and saying it's not about just a short-term rental, it's about movement of people and movement of things. And we then started migrating ourselves to say, this brand is well trusted, the Avis brand for, reliability and safety on the car rental. But we have been, since 1987 doing Avis Fleet, which was a long-term lease. I mean, we've been in this game for a very long time, but focusing obviously on corporate, so most, travelers might not know. And what did that Avis Fleet do? I mean, Avis Fleet is about giving leases on long term. You get the car for 44 months as a company, and we're mostly in the production of, goods and services, whether it's in the mine, in the agricultural sector, we've been providing fleet. There's so many cars that I see on the road. The beauty about Avis is that we allow you to brand your car that I see on the road, and I know that they are customers, and I know this is an Avis car as it moves. And in 2020, when a short-term we're looking for home deliveries, we venture into that, and we're supporting a lot of business in the last mile that we're doing, and that's the Avis. We never stop. Obviously, in 2021 again, we said, why don't we do heavy commercial? Let's get into the big cars and big vehicles, and we got into that. We've got a heavy commercial, and our last baby to date is our iLease. We're now saying, people, you don't have to own a car. But if you want to, Avis Car Sales is still there for you. iLease says you can get a car at your own terms. You can say, look, 4 years is a long time for me to have a car, or life is uncertain. I mean, we've seen how the economy changed. So we're really trying to close the gap of the people that are saying, I've got a project for a year, I've got a project for 2 years, but short-term rental might not be affordable for me. Can I have an option? So Avis is about options.
I'm glad you mentioned iLease because I definitely want to get into the detail of that in a little bit. But with everything that you've mentioned now in mind, I know that Africa is a growth area for you. What about the territory is saying to you right now, this is where we need to be?
It's definitely not the ease of doing business in Africa.
No.
Look, we are Africans and we know the continent. We've been in Greater Africa, we've been in countries like Tanzania, we've been in Ghana, we are in Ghana and Angola. So we know that it's not easy to do business, but we have invested time. From 2021, we look at the countries we are operating in and they were not doing well. We started doing portfolio review, looking at them. That gave us an ability to say, is it a country to grow in or is it a country to exit? And I'm very glad that we've invested time. I mean, we are seeing the fruit of it. Zambia is growing very well. When we look at the Copper Belt, we realize that actually there's a lot of, people not understanding leasing, and we say opportunities are great. There's great potentials that are coming out of those countries, and people are looking for options. One thing about Avis, as I've said, is about optionality. It's about servicing the customer what they want. The days of giving you what you want, what I think you want, are gone. I'm giving you what you need, and that is what we are seeing in Africa, in the Greater Africa, especially in countries like even Mozambique. We're really excited. our half-year numbers were just telling us again that this is the right strategy to do, grow in Africa, and we're very excited about our growth.
Looking at those half-year numbers, Greater Africa contributed 22% to total revenue. What percentage do you want to get that to now? What is your target for that?
Look, in the short to medium term, if we get to about 30 to 35, that would be great. Look, it's going to be a mountain, but we never settle for anything less. It does require a lot of time for us to invest into it, but we're excited. We know that South Africa is still growing, so it is a competition of growth. So who can grow the pot better? So our teams are very excited. This is a healthy competition for different countries, so we're loving it at this moment.
How do you rationalize investment? So you maybe perhaps identify a territory you want to get into. How do you rationalize it? Because some territories can offer you this wonderful growth, but the challenges that come with operating in those territories, quite another thing.
Look, that is a big case. I mean, a capital allocation is looking at the returns, where we are able to get the returns, how easy it is to repatriate cash. So that becomes very important, because the growth is the growth. But do we get the right returns? Because we've got our head on the returns that we like to get. How easy are we be able to reinvest back into that country and get money? So those are some of the things we look at into before we allocate capital. I think as I've said, it's about studying, and we have done a lot of it, and we know which country to invest to what level and which country to go just at the right level. The beauty is we're finding a lot of trade in US dollars that is really helping us. We've hedged our business very well. We've got a good hedging strategy that is really working for us. Yes, there are countries that our hedging strategy has not yet gotten into, and really we took a hit on them even last year on Ghana. So Ghana is still one of those. But in the whole, I think we've got a very strong treasury team that really looks at it, in combination with a very strong business team that looks at the business and the sales team. So a combination of it, you definitely will not go outside South Africa without a proper hedging and treasury team.
Absolutely. Hedging strategy is one thing, looking properly at territories to make sure you're making the right investment into those territories, another thing. How important is making use of local talent and knowledge? Because if you don't, I assume that things can head downhill pretty quickly.
It is. I mean, we look at Zambia. When one of the portfolio review was, we look for someone who was a Zambian. And I was very fortunate. I did in my previous life work with countries. So it was very fortunate for me to really find someone who was already in Zambia, a Zambian lady. Marina was just perfect for the growth, and she just walking in the role. So local talent is very important. Every country we go to, whether it's Botswana, even it's close by, we're really looking for local talent. Namibia is headed fully by my biasness. I'm starting to think about it now. I've got, in those countries, I've got two country managers. Namibia is headed by a country manager who's a female. Zambia is a country manager who's a female. But Mozambique is headed by a man, so I do take diversity into consideration. And Ghana is also headed by a man. So you also look at fit for purpose in those countries, and we're seeing even car sales in those industry. I mean, in those countries, most of the countries don't have dealership, but we are seeing a lot of growth of us generating used cars. We're generating good used cars. We're creating our own dealership. So it is really growing very well for us.
So Africa has your attention, technology has your attention as well. So let's get into the detail of iLease. Explain a little bit about it. I know at the top of the interview you spoke about it. It's usership rather than ownership. How does that exactly work?
Just think about the times when we really went to COVID, and you think about, did you really need the car for the time that you do? Look at the economic condition now. Do you still need two cars really for that? Or do you just need to use a car? And we've seen a lot of people are working on projects, and when they work on project, the project have got a very short time. And it gives you the flexibility. So what iLease does, you go to any dealership like the Avis dealership floor, you come here and you say, I love this car. And we're saying you've got two options. You can finance this the traditional way, or you can have the flexible ILIS way. And what does the flexible ILIS way is that you determine whether in that package you've got insurance in it, you've got telematics in it, you've got everything that you need that makes your car safe, that makes you pay the amount that you're willing to pay. So we look at your affordability and say, can you do? But the best part of it is that if something happens, life does happen, and when it does, then you can call us and you say, Avis, you know what? I've just fallen into hard times. Can I bring the car back? And we're like, you know what? We will take the car because we know what to do with the cars. Other institutions don't know what to do with the car. What will they do? They charge you with penalty, they blacklist you, they take you all the things. You don't have to do that. You've got the right to use the car. That's what we're saying. What do you need? Do you need to own a car or do you need to use it? But we always know that South Africa is still evolving. We still say, if at the end you choose you wanna hold on to the car, we will give it to you gladly, because after all, we do sell cars. So that whole value chain, it's allowing people to be flexible based on their need. And when the need changes, you still are in the family of Avis that says, we will sell you the car because you need it. Or you can continue using it and evolve. Some of us, can get into a car, people say, I need to own the car. But in reality, people take the car for 3 years with a balloon payment, and after 3 years, they're refinancing it, and we all convincing ourselves that we own a car. Really, we're just using the car.
Is that sell to a consumer gaining traction, or are you still finding that it is quite a hard sell?
Look, I think we've learned it has been a hard sell. People love the idea of ILIS. But they're very scared. And we've gone into customer survey trying to understand what people, and the biggest thing people say, but I want to own it. And we say, you can still own it. You just have the right to choose when you want to own it. So do you have to make a lifetime commitment of owning a car on day one? I mean, that is a 4-year commitment. Or do you want to say, let me think about it while I'm using it? So for us, we are targeting a market that says, life is changing, I'm changing, I've got different needs. I can choose what I want to do. I can choose which town I live in. So yes, that is not a South African market yet, but we believe we are evolving with the market, and we're seeing a lot of parents, interesting enough, a lot of parents getting into ILIS on behalf of their children. So they still attached to the ownership, but they understand, after a certain period, my daughter, my son may choose to do whatever they want to do. Let me get into ILIS. So our target was the youth and the early young adults. What are they doing? They're informing their parents that this is the new thing to be in, and we are the it of mobility.
Well, at least you do have a market, and parents certainly buying into the idea, and maybe, you never know, next generation, maybe this is something that they see through as they go along. But ILIS is certainly a key differentiator then for Avis. Another thing is that your luxury cars become a differentiator as well. Do you see demand for those products? Because I know office conversations, everyone's saying, how do people have the money to do this?
Right? And we say that after we've had the car just go past drive our office, vroom, and we know that people do have. Look, it's a niche market. It's definitely a niche market, and we are doing very well in that market. We do not buy. It's not a scale business. It's a business where you buy for the requirement. Our customers have been our customer for a very long time. They are rotating customers. But we see a lot of new entrances in the market, that says, oh, I saw Avis with this car. Can I get this car? Metric tons. Parents know where to get us. So that is.
So you should actually be targeting your marketing to young people, because it seems that they can inform their parents.
Avis is
to do
young.
All sorts of things.
And 1955-year-old young company. We're young at heart. We understand. So we know. I talk about metric tons, and you look at it and you say there's a period in town where you will never find a car because on the luxury side, because even feel bad. To say, okay, let's go to our car sales, because that's a flexibility that Avis has. Even a car that is a car sales, when it comes to period of peak period, we get into our car sales and we're saying, come and choose to use it for that occasion. And when you bring it back, we've achieved our usership economy. So we're really not stuck in you owning the car. You know, ownership of a car is an Avis job. Yours is just to enjoy it.
As we round off, when we talk about luxury vehicles, what are we looking at? Give us a price tag of perhaps the highest valued vehicle that Avis can rent out, lease out. What are we looking at?
Look, if our customer comes and say, I need that 5 million car, Avis will go and get a 5 million car for their usage. And we do that.
And that's what you do?
And that's what you do, because we have the usage right. All that we do, we get the usage. Avis is one of the most flexible mobility company because we give you what you want. I mean, I remember 2-3 years back, we never used to have a G-Wagon because we're like, who will rent a G-Wagon? And you know, I got a call and it's like, you guys don't have a G-Wagon. I'm like, but because you will not afford a G-Wagon. I promise you, we bought 3 G-Wagons. They have never been in their parking lot. We envy them by the sound. We just hear the sound go past. It's like, there goes the G-Wagon. Monday morning, you hear it back. There comes the G-Wagon. So the market in South Africa is so dynamic. And the one thing we said is that if it makes financial sense, Avis is driven by returns. If it makes financial sense for us, we will get it. So for us, it's key to make sure that it makes the financial sense. And we have seen that the more we listen, and the more we price, because people are looking, you know, the people, different market shop for different things. You know, you've got a marketer that say, give me good service, give me value for my money, I'll take anything. And that is also an Avis market. And we also have our Group A cars, where people say, I just want to get into this car and move. And, you know, when you look at leasing, you can use it for a short or long. So we say, some people use the car for 9 years. But those are heavy commercial, you know, really working tools. But we don't have boundaries. The only boundary we have is that it must make a good return.
Well, on that note, let's leave it there. Ramasela, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you very much, Rorin. I really enjoyed it.
Ramasela Ganda is the CEO of Avis, and that's where we leave it for this episode of Africa Pulse. But we're back same time, same place next week. So from me, Bronwyn Seaborn, and the rest of the team, it's goodbye for now.